Reading from the Caitanya-bhāgavata Antya-khaṇḍa. Is it chapter 4 or 3? 4, I think. Text 73. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarva-guṇa-hīna yadi caitanya-caraṇe. Smaraṇa karile yāya vaikuṇṭha-bhuvane. But if a person who has no good qualities remembers the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya, then he attains the abode of vaikuṇṭha. Om Timarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmalatam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Caitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Mancha Kalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Greg, what highway were you on? Greetings from the Garden State Parkway. On my way to Bhakti Bandhav in a very relatively quiet car. So, yeah, I do like the challenge of, I don't actually, I'd rather be sitting in one place, but once you get started, then hopefully you quickly come to the level of unconscious competence. You come to the level of unconscious competence where you are not affected by the environment. That's kind of like a samadhi. Yeah, so, when you get absorbed in something like speaking, especially on spiritual topics, then the rest of the world can easily disappear. But we're in Lord Caitanya's travels. And he stopped in a place called Ramakeli, which was the place of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, where he met them and where they served. And somehow the place was really inspiring to him, and he just became so absorbed in kirtan that no one could give him advice or ask for advice. It just never stopped. That was his bhava. Because he was feeling something extraordinary, which was the highest sentiments of love of Godhead. And when you're having a good time, then time flies. There's no concept of time. Time generally is oppressive when you think of the past and when you think of the future. When you're absorbed, it's a sense of entering into eternality, because it actually is. On the absolute level, there's no time, because the absolute level is God, and God is above time. And when you connect to the divine in the form of the holy name, in the form of the teachings, it can kind of have that effect. So Lord Caitanya is just absorbed in kirtan. And what happened at this place, because the location happens to be almost like a suburb of the capital of the Muslim king, Nawab Hussain Shah, who was a Hindu hater. And he destroyed many of the temples and the deities. So now here is Lord Caitanya, obviously not doing namaz, actually doing real namaz, but he's just absorbed in kirtan. And not only is he absorbed in kirtan, but he's so influential. And still, it's basically a Hindu country. They're just being ruled by the Muslim kings. So, you know, dictators are very, very, once they get power, they know how to keep it. And a lot is getting rid of the any opposition, any other influence. And then, you know, kind of throwing out a few crumbs, perhaps, to people. You know, you can do kirtan, but, you know, don't disturb us. And they're always fearful, because there's envy. And the higher up you have, the more people generally envy you. If you have nothing, people don't envy you. And then one of the ways the king maintains control is obviously he seeks to have loyalty from the military. And those type of people are just out for themselves to show their good favor to the king. So this one constable says, I have to report this to the king, the Shah, because there's this Hindu mendicant who's getting great influence. So what happens is he goes to the king, but a miraculous thing happens, because sarvasya chaham iti sani vishto matasmitir gyanam aponam cha. I am situated in everyone's heart, and for me comes remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. That's why sadhus traditionally and Brahmins traditionally are not afraid of snakes, because they realize that God is in everyone's heart. He's also dictating the instincts of the snake. So if Krishna wants to protect you, no one can kill you. And if Krishna wants to kill you, no one is to protect you. And they have that firm faith. And in fact, in Jaiva Dharma, it described that was actually one of the qualifications for someone doing bhajan and retiring, especially in Navadvip where there's many snakes. They had to be free from fear, because the whole idea of meditation is and yoga is to reverse the flow of consciousness, which is going external to sense objects, and vairagya or dispassion means to reverse that. I wrote a Monday morning greetings about that. You'll read it tomorrow. It's called Mother Death. how my mother would always tell me to take out the garbage. And then, in the afternoon, it still wasn't taken out. And she said I was mother deaf, which means the sound vibration was there, but because I didn't like it, I didn't hear it. Anyway, so Krishna is in the heart. I lost some track here, but we'll continue. Can you make it a little less hot in here? Yeah, it's. Okay. That's good. A little air. It's good. So but so surprisingly, though, I was talking about God being in everyone's heart. Somehow or other, people are very, very complex. Somehow or other, hearing about Lord Caitanya and hearing about his influence in a place where he's just visiting, where the king is there, and he knows he has many enemies, and that to keep his power, he has to do it by demand. And here is Lord Caitanya commanding an incredible respect. And what to just speak of the descriptions of how he looked, it indicated that he was a Mahapurush, some divinity. A combination of factors, and it's hard to actually analyze exactly why this Hindu hater, he somehow or other becomes impressed, and he says, don't harm this person, don't disturb this person. And there's some commentary before this from Vrindavan Das Thakur, how extraordinary that is. How extraordinary that is, because sometimes there's people who apparently have all good qualities, but are not humble. Mano rite dasati, navato biti. Mano rite, the chariot of the mind dictates to them somehow subtly that this is the way I control the world, by exhibiting these qualities which are respected, but they're not actually heartfelt. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavat akinchana sarva-guṇa samasate saha mano rite dasati. So now Vrindavan Das is saying that if a person has no good qualities, but if he has this humility, then he can attain the Lord. He can attain vaikuṇṭha. If he has humility, and that humility is demonstrated that he's remembering Lord Caitanya, and somehow or other he appreciates Lord Caitanya. He appreciates that there's something higher than myself. And when you take that quality, you get credit for everything else, because it's going to wind up in a very pure place. And I remember Hridayananda Maharaj is a bit of a genius. He gave an example how in bhakti, when someone has heartfelt devotion, even if he has bad qualities, api chet siddharacharo bhajite mam ananya-bhak sadhur eva samantavya. Sadhur eva samantavya. We can consider him a sadhu. Api chet suduracharo. Even if suduracharo, behavior, bad behavior, very bad behavior, bhajite mam ananya-bhak. He's an anya-bhak if he's the devotion. And he gave the example, I love the example, someone's jumping off a building. Initially, he's going up, but no one's saying, look, he's going up. Everybody's saying he's going down. because they can see the result of it. So it's like that, why people who are devotional can get so much credit, because bhakti is the path of grace. When you become humble and dependent, you are no longer dependent on your own power to achieve something. And when someone enters into that consciousness, it's a very, very exalted thing. Aho bata swapachato guriyanya jivagre vartate nama tubhyam. Jivagre. If one has a name of God on his tongue, aho bata swa, oh, aho bata, oh, how glorious. Aho bata swapacho, even a dog eater. And Jiva Goswami said they actually eat dogs. Griyan, how glorious. He has one name. He's considered to have bathed in all the holy rivers. He's considered to have read all the script. He's getting so much credit. He's getting so much credit because that is the goal. The goal is to be humble. And the core consciousness of humility is I'm part of something greater than myself. We can have a lot of confidence, but we never should feel we have significance. We're not significant. And get over it. It's no problem. Of course, we are significant because we're part of God. Not because we have any other powers which are very temporary and fleeting. Born into the world naked, leave naked, these type of things. You know, a prisoner. Like when we were young, we used to watch a cartoon, and I'm not sure, I doubt if anyone's not over 60. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it went on. We used to love it. It was called Top Cat. And it was about this alley cat who was like the head of the cats in the alley, in the garbage cans. Top Cat. I had one godbrother named Tapamoya, who was from the Sundarban. The Sundarban's a part of Bengal where the tigers were. And he was kind of like a manager, very passionate guy. And I remember the GBC used to call him Top Cat, Tapamoya, Top Cat, Top Cat. So you can't be proud about being Top Cat. Or you know, being powerful in the prison house, if we put it in perspective. But humility and real worship of God, it's humility. It's putting your hands on your chest. There's something greater than myself, and being happy about that. And just bathing in bhakti, I'm just a servant, bathing in that feeling. Trinada pi sanichena turora pi sahishtana amanina madanena kirtaniya sadhari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one could chant constantly. because that state of mind is the receptacle of mercy. And mercy is the feeling of being loved. And it creates love in your heart. And enables you to do things out of love. And the things out of love give one the most pleasure. Right? Jack is here. He can come home from work. He can cook for himself. It's not fun. But if he has his Tuesday night program and he's cooking for others, what a difference that makes. So that is the key quality. And that quality, tate nukam pam susamikshama bhujana evatma kritam dipa. One who bows his head again and again and again when the trials and difficulties of the world come, and he bows his head again and again. Not saying, why have you done this for me? But thanking God for doing this to one. Thanking God for moving the world around us so that our consciousness can be elevated. Dayavak means you inherit the kingdom of God. So humility is the core basis of spirituality, the core basis of bhakti is to be humble. The pride, actually, the good pride of saying, I am just a servant. Prabhupada would say that, oh, Prabhupada, you're the greatest. No, I'm just a servant. Prabhupada, you're a great devotee. No, devotee is not ordinary thing. So somehow or other, Vrindavan Das Thakur is commenting in amazement how this evil king somehow or other developed appreciation. Prabhupada said, appreciation is the first principle. We advance by appreciation. Another word for appreciation is faith. I trust. I appreciate. So now they're going to explain this. Swabhave Raja Mahakala Yavana Mahatmano Guna Bridha Hoya Gune Guna. The Yavana king is by nature like death personified, for he cultivates the mode of ignorance. They're just amazed. Somehow or other, Lord Caitanya, just descriptions of him. Parama Karuna Pahu Dvijana Itai Gora Chandra Sabhavatar Sarashiramani Kevala Ananda Kanda Bajo Bajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudvidha Vishvasa Kori Vishayacharya Serase Majya Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari Dekore Bhai Tribhuvane Nai Emana Doyala Data Pashupati Jure Pasanabidore Suni Jandra Gunagata. Just by hearing Gunagata, the qualities of Lord Caitanya, appreciating the qualities of Lord Caitanya. So they're amazed. This is a Yavana king, and he's by nature Mahakala. death, Swabhavi, Raja, this king, his nature is Mahakala. It's like death. But somehow or other, Odaya Deshe Koti Koti Pratama Prasad Bangileka Kota Kota Korila Pavad. He broke millions of deities and temples in Orissa and created great havoc there. And somehow or other, he's appreciating Lord Caitanya. Daivi Aisi Satvaguna Upajila Mane Teshe Bala Kohileka Amashaba Shtane. By the arrangement of providence, he now developed the mode of goodness. Therefore, he has spoken nicely to us. They're completely shocked and surprised. How did this evil person, and there are stories are like that, where just somehow or other, someone on the wrong path just situates himself for a little opening for God's mercy. And somehow or other that changes them. I remember my godbrother, Srila Maharaj, told the story how he first came to Krishna consciousness in the late 70s. There was this one devotee, Prabhupada, and he was selling books, and he had this beautiful picture that's on the Ishopanishads of Vishnu. And Srila Maharaj came over and said, "Who's that?" And Prabhupada said, "It's God." And Srila Maharaj said, "Well, what if I rip up that picture?" And Prabhupada said, "I'll kill you." So he was impressed. And he somehow that impressed him. Wow. Adakone patra asi kumantana dile arabhari kubudi asiya pachimile. But if someone approaches him, give him some bad advice, he will again become wicked-minded. We saw that happen with Kamsa. You know, he decided when Krishna's father Vasudeva, said it's not this child that's going to kill you, it's the 8th child, and he kind of influenced him. People who are diplomats, they understand minds and can move minds. You may want to move it from A to Z, but you know what to say to B, slight thing to change his mind this way, and this false information, and this, that. And all of a sudden you build up a frame of reference where they can accept something that normally they wouldn't accept. So somehow or other, Kamsa was convinced by Vasudeva, why should I kill the child? It's kind of kill my nephews, it doesn't look so good. But then other people who were evil spoke in his ear, you don't know who's going to kill you. It could be anyone. And it doesn't take much with someone who has demoniac, self-centered mentality to think, well, I'll just do whatever's, I'm not taking any chances. Because there's no conscience. So if someone gives bad advice, he will again become wicked-minded. What if he says, what kind of sannyasi is he? Bring him here. I want to see. Ata eva goes sadi patai katiya rajya nikete grame ki kari rahiyat. Let us therefore send someone to the Lord with the message. What is the use of staying in a place near the king? Lord Caitanya had the whole India to chant. Why take any risks? Why take any risks? Yukti kare shabe ek subramana patiye shangope dilena tachashana. After planning in this way, they once secretly sent a pious Brahmin to meet the Lord. Nijanande Mahaprabhu Mata Sarvakshna Prema Rase Niravadi Hunkara Garjana. So this is description. Mahaprabhu was continuously intoxicated in his own ecstasy. He constantly roared loudly in the mellows of ecstatic love. So he's on a, this is what this indicates, is that Lord Caitanya is on a platform, because these are called astika satvika bhavs. He's roaring. It means it's not going through the intelligence. It's just immediately responding to the impetuses for his ecstasy. It's not like he's saying, let me roar, let my hair stand on end, let me cry. These things are just coming. And at this particular platform, when you're experiencing astika sattvika bhavs, there's no way to communicate to you intellectually because you're not on that platform. You're on a completely emotional platform, but it's called sattvika bhav. It's coming from the reality, sattvika, of your soul. And you're just responding. And when this happens, it means already the mind has been so spiritually agitated that the life airs in your body are vibrating and contacting different elements in your body that are responding according to the emotion. You may cry, but it's a very overwhelming experience. So he's in this mood now, and they want to give him good advice, but he's not cognizant of the outside world, nor does he want to be cognizant of the outside world. And here's the scene. Laksha Koti, Loka Mila, Kari Haridvani, Anande, Nachiye, Majhe, Prabhu Nyasi Manik. Millions of people chanted the name of Hari as the crest jewel of sannyasis joyfully danced. So he's like in the middle of the kirtan, and it's leave me alone. I am absorbed, and he's surrounded by so many Laksha Koti, hundreds of thousands, Loka, millions of people. They're chanting and he's dancing. And Anya-katha, Anya-kare, Nahi Konikshna, Aha Nisha, Bolena, Bolayena, Shankirtan. The Lord did not speak or do anything for even a moment other than chant and induce others to chant Sankirtan day and night. So this is why the king is impressed. Millions of people are following him, and he's just completely absorbed day and night. And when that happens, and even if you're not favorable and you see it, it's quite astounding. And it has an effect on you and has effect on others. Just like when I would go at Union Square and chant with Ram Roy, if the kirtan was really nice, some people would come out and they would just be stunned. They didn't know what it was. They couldn't figure out what it is. Are there some people doing fundraising here on the highway? You have a maze here? Like, yeah, okay. We're flying. Okay. The Brahmin became struck with wonder when he could not find even a moment to speak with the Lord. So get that scene. Lord Chaitanya's moon is rising, and it ain't surprising that there's dancing in the street, telling everyone we meet. So Lord Chaitanya's moon is rising, and there's these kirtans, and they're not ordinary. And they're just attracting more and more and more people. It's so powerful. I remember years ago when there was hardly anything happening in the Hare Krishna movement in North America. And there were just a few of us. And we went out on Fifth Avenue with nice kirtan. And it's so overpowering, Fifth Avenue. But once you get absorbed, it's your influence creates a larger and larger bubble. It influences everyone else. What to speak of Lord Caitanya chanting with his associates, with the Mridanga players, and it's becoming more and more powerful and more absorbing. And one does not want to do anything else but feel the presence of God in his holy name and our relationship with him and what it does to the body and the emotions it creates. What to speak of conversing with others? The Lord did not even converse with his own associates. He's not even talking to anybody. He's just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He's just completely absorbed with these sonorous melodies and the deep devotion in the heart and the absorption. The Lord was unaware if it was day or night, whether one was an insider or outsider, whether he was on land or in water, or whether he was in the village or outside the village. He simply floated day and night in the ocean of ecstatic love. That's samadhi. That verse, I quoted, where Ishwar Puri told Lord Caitanya it was the essence of the whole Bhagavatam. Evam vrita swapriya nama krita jitanu raga. Chanting without any inhibition, without any attachment. From that becomes raga, and then one's crying and dancing, and there's no cognizance of the outside. Because it's continuously increasing, the absorption and the pleasure. And perhaps some of us have had experiences of kirtan where we lost cognizance of time. They're describing this, but it's also what the Shastra says, that a certain level of absorption and meditation called samadhi, you forget that there's anything existing outside of it. Being unable to find any opportunity to speak to the Lord, the Brahmana gave his message to the devotees. The Brahmana said, "You're all associates of the Lord. When you find time, please give him this message. I've been sent by the concerned persons to ask the Lord." Whoa. What is nothing? It's just a little bump on the highway, a little hole. We had to just. What is the use of staying in a place near the king? After delivering the message, and offering millions of obeisances to the Lord, the Brahmin returned to his home. When the Lord's associates heard that message, they became somewhat worried. Yet they could also not find a moment to speak. Can you turn the heat down a little bit more even? Somehow. Yeah. I'm getting fired up, so a little cool. So now that his followers want to give him advice, they could not find a moment because Sri Satyana did not manifest external consciousness. And what would happen? The Lord just raise his hands and would say, Bolo, Bolo, Hari Bolo, Hari Bolo, Hari Bale, a Matra Bale, Prabhu, Dui, Bhuhu, Bahu, Tuli. Chant, chant, chant the names of Hari, chant the names of Hari. In the four directions, millions of people clapped their hands and joyfully chanted the names of Hari. Simply by remembering the names of his servants, all obstacles are vanquished and all entanglement is broken. So it's saying here, not just even chanting the names of God, but chanting the names of his pure devotees. I'm trying to find the context for this verse. Okay, somehow for today, if anyone would like Jamunajaya, I think we could stop here and
Thank you for class, Maharaj. Always so impressive that you can do this while on the Garden State Parkway.
well, when you're driving in a Porsche, it's easy. I have to tell you.
I imagine it is.
Yeah.
I really love the point when you said we can have confidence, but not significance. But of course, our only significance is that we are part of Krishna, part of God. So I love that. I like to have confidence, but not understand, but to understand our insignificance.
And especially a devotee who's connected to God, he knows that God is acting through him. So, yeah. Okay, very nice, Jamunajaya. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else like to?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Henry.
Henry, nice to see you.
Last week you said, hearing is service. And then after that, you said emphatically, hearing is the best service. And I wrote that down and I've underlined it. I've been meditating on it all week, and it's really empowered me to hear better. So thank you so much.
Wow. Yeah, because you get mercy from hearing because you're facilitating the service of someone else. So that's the extra thing that someone who's, I know you really had a boon for COVID, Henry. You just got grounded hearing Bhagavatam all day. That's great. Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hey, Haribo. Hi.
Haribo.
Good. Thank you, Kalachandji and Shraddhanjali. Gail?
Yeah, I have to say, Maharaj, I have this experience often and I don't know how to articulate it so well, but, I just love the way you relate or couch the philosophy in love, in a way that always resonates so precisely with my heart. I just have to say that, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Gail, so much. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Thanks
Oh, Haribo.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very good. You know, India is opening up for tourist
Yeah.
visas on November 15th.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yes. We're looking forward.
Are you
Yeah,
thinking of
hopefully-
maybe visiting?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of
of
course.
course, Maharaj.
Okay, okay, very good. Okay,
Yeah. Hopefully
anybody
see you
else? Haribo.
Hey, Krishna
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna, good
Hey, Krishna Maharaj. Raja.
Hey, nice to see everyone. Okay. Haribo.
Right away.
Okay, see everybody soon. Good. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Narmasaki here.
Oh, Haribo. Nice.
Haribo, thank you so much for the class.
You're in your farm or the apartment near it?
Yes, we are in the farm right now.
Okay. All right. I guess reception's not so good there, but okay.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Akinshana Krishna Das.
I'm crossing my fingers that I booked my flight, arrive like Kartik, like I'd arrive in Vrindavan Kartik early morning, but the visa hasn't come back yet. And I can see on this one, I'm not equal in happiness and distress. I will be, but I really want it. But that may affect you after November 15th, huh?
Yeah, let's see. It's still not clear if they're going to, I think there's still plenty of reason to hope that we can stay beyond October 31st.
Oh, behind October 31st, of course. But you
So
also
that-
heard that they're giving tourist visas.
Right. So we hope that we can, ideally we don't have to, travel to a foreign country to get a new visa. Maybe we can just go locally and cross the border and come back. That would be ideal.
Okay.
We're still
No.
hoping for that.
It will happen. It will happen. I know how it works. If you want to stay in Brudge, you stay in Brudge. Krishna just tests you, your desire. That's all. Okay, good. Anybody else?
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. This is Kishori Radha.
And Tota Gopinath.
Okay, Haribo, we'll see you
All right.
soon.
See you soon.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, this is Brajarade.
Vajradhe,
Krishna.
Haribo. I'm not getting good reception here. Okay. Okay. Haribo. Emalata Radha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay, Haribo. Okay. Good.
Thank you so
All
much for
right.
class.
Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna
Okay.
Maharaj.
Who's this?
Bhakti Devi.
Bhakti Devi. Haribo. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo